What's up, everybody? It's Wombat, coming back at you with Why You're Dying in OPR Part 2. So Part 1, we exposed the passive weapon exploit and showed you how it functioned and how people were using it to kill you in OPR. This is Part 2, and Part 2 is going to be focused on animation canceling. Now, some people will say that animation canceling is not an exploit. I feel that any ability that you are using in a way that it was not originally designed to function is an exploit. If you're using this to gain an advantage on other players, it is an exploit. And just how egregious those are is really based on how much of an advantage it gives you over other people. So these ones I was really, really happy to figure out finally. Somebody showed me how to do one animation cancel, and it led me down a rabbit hole of testing all different weapons, especially the ones that were being used against me. And I mean, I was literally in Discord tonight complaining, as I always do when someone kills me, other than calling them a cheater, because anyone that kills you in OPR is a cheater. That's a given, right? We all know that. Everyone is cheating if they kill you. If you kill them, you're the greatest. That's how gaming works. But I was complaining, and someone hit me with a feral rush that seemed to travel 2 times as far as it should. And this has been a complaint of mine for 6 months. Somebody hits you with a leaping strike, and you're like, how the hell? They weren't even close to me. And when you use the ability, you're like, this ability sucks. I can't catch anybody. I can't get anywhere. It's terrible. And again, you're thinking, what am I doing wrong? Like, how is this guy so much better than me that he's hitting me with a feral rush that's going 50% farther than mine? Well, it's because they're doing animation cancels. It's not because they're better. It's not because they have more skill. It's just because, again, they're cheaters. So let's look at the cheats that are currently going on right now. And we're going to look at it with Hatchet and Sword and Shield, because these are the two that really stand out to me. Right, so again, I don't know what your feelings are on animation cancels. I'm going to show you the first one, which is Berserk canceling. So normal Berserk, right, you get that stupid animation where you do your roar and it just stops you in place. And it makes the ability worthless for anything other than the damage boost of Berserk, right? Like, you can't chase anybody with it because it stops you in place, and any haste you gain doesn't make up for the ground you lost with chasing someone. And likewise, if someone is chasing you, or someone's chasing you, and you use this, it roots you in place and they kill you, right? So what does the Berserk cancel do? Well, it does exactly what it says. It cancels the animation of Berserk, which lets you just keep on rolling with Berserk activated. You get your haste and you keep running. Like, everyone sees this in OPR, right? This isn't a surprise. Berserk animation canceling has been a thing for a very long time. Everyone knows how to do it. There's tons of videos out there. But really, that's it, right? We've all seen this, and that's not a huge surprise. This next one on Feral Rush is really the one that annoyed me the most when I saw it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this handy little walkway as a test platform. Right, so we're going to get our foot right to the edge, because I don't want anybody saying I'm not, going at an angle, whatever, right? We're going to get right to the edge, get right in place. Perfect. And we're going to put our pointer right at the corner here, and I'm just going to do a normal old Feral Rush. And actually, we'll go like this, right? Our pointer is going to be right at that corner. Normal Feral Rush. All animations stop. And my shoe is right on this crack right here. Right? That's where we are. I'm going to put a little marker there once my ability's up. And we're going to go back to the starting line. Alright, so we get back in the same spot. Toes on the edge. Pointed in the same location. And I have to not screw up the ability. There it goes. So now, that little shuffle at the end is not me. That's the game doing that. But you can see I'm basically here, right? That's where I landed this time. Previously, I was right here. Now what's that difference for us? Well, it's about 3 meters. If I'm standing on this side of the board, and I look towards the edge of the board here where I started, 5 meters, 6. Right, you kind of got to play with their system a little bit here to see where you really are. It's close to 6 meters, and that's close to 3 to the end. So basically, I just went 50% farther with this Berserk, right? And this is something that you can just macro right in, right? And even, let's say, okay, there's that little shuffle at the end, right? So let's say that's really where we ended, getting rid of the shuffle. We come back and just do a normal Feral Rush, it's still 3 meters farther. So this is #1 reason people are catching you and destroying you with Hatchet and OPR if you're trying to run from them. Feral Rush is an absolutely worthless freaking skill if you use it without this exploit, but when you use it with the exploit, man, it is just, they just catch you and destroy you. So there's #1, right? Way farther travel distance. So let's get into Sword and Shield. And we'll do a very similar test with Sword and Shield. And this is all going to be about distance travel, right? Like, we're not getting any extra damage out of this. It's not some, you know, we're double stacking weapons, whatever, right? This is 100% exploiting distance based on animation cancel, right? So if I Leaping Strike, it's going to get me around the end of this platform, right? So if you were at the end of this platform, you just got hit by my Leaping Strike. It is literally right there. We'll go back to the beginning of the platform, get a little number here, right? We're about 8 meters, 9, 7, yeah. So just over 8 meters is that leap distance. Now if we do it with the exploit, or the animation cancel, you'll notice I went a wee bit farther than the edge of that platform. And again, you get that little shuffle at the end. I don't know why that happens. But if we go back to where our last one ended, we're 4 meters farther away. Right? And this is the crux of the problem, right? A Leaping Strike is not designed to go 12 meters. It's designed to go 8. And so when you go your 8 meters, sorry, that is not Leaping Strike. Right? That's where you're supposed to get to. That's what the game is designed for. And when anybody uses this, again, you can see it's not costing me any extra time to do this, right? And what's really happening is I'm heavy attacking into a Leaping Strike. But you don't have to wait for the whole heavy attack. You only have to wait for the light heavy attack. And the light heavy attack is 0.3 seconds. Right, so I'm doing the 0.3 second heavy attack into a Leaping Strike. Now, do you think anybody is covering that distance in 0.3 seconds? No. It is 100% a huge advantage. Now, what else could this work with, you might say? Well, I mean, what else do people use when they're running Sword Shield? They're going to use Shield Bash, or not Shield Bash, I'm sorry, Shield Rush, right? So let's go ahead and we'll put on Shield Rush here. And let's take a look and see how far we travel with Shield Rush. So we're right about the edge of the platform. And Shield Rush basically gets me to here. Middle of that platform. Let's back it up. Right, we are 5 meters. Just barely 5 meters. Right, realistically that's 4. Because we're clicking over to 4 right there. So 4 to 5 meters. Now if you want to do the animation cancel one, got to do it right. Again, this put me to leaping strike territory. We already know this is 8 meters. This one is probably the one I do the least consistently well, since I've been practicing. I mean, that says 9 meters right there. But a lot of the time I do just heavy attack on accident. Right, so you're basically getting to the end of the platform. That's pretty much a leaping strike distance with your shield bash. It is a leaping strike distance with your shield bash. So, again, this is why people are catching you. This is how they're doing it, right? You're chasing somebody around, and you're starting to you think you're going to get away, and they just wreck you with a shield bash that goes way too far. And the most annoying thing about this is that the shield bash has homing on it, so like you can be running and they could be aiming it like over here, and it'll curve it into you. And this is something I never understood either, and I always complained about. But it's just homing on shield bash, and when it goes that far, it really it becomes noticeable, right? So let me see if I can do it here. Right, so it just turns you into into the person. And we'll do one last little test here before I let you go and complain about this in the comments. Let me put the Feral Rush back on, and let's see. Right, normal Feral Rush, if I'm using it, it does pull you in, right? Like it absolutely, you can see my cursor was over here, it pulls you towards the target. So when you're coming from something like back here, hopefully it doesn't pull me to this one. Oh, it did actually. It pulled me towards this one a little bit. Right, so that's about 7 meters away. Let me get a little bit past this guy. So that should be too far for me to get to without using this. Right, and it just pulls you right into the target. So, again, it's cheating in my opinion. Some people will argue that it's not, right? Some people will say, oh no, it's just part of the animation cancel skill, it's just part of the game. In my opinion, it's not, right? There's no skill to this. You can macro all of it, and it's not a complicated macro. It's wait, heavy attack for 0.3 seconds, and then use your ability, right? Like that's it. And you can just macro that right to your ability button, and you just have a Feral Rush that goes farther, and a Berserk cancel every single time whenever you use Berserk, and a Leaping Strike that goes 50% farther, and it's all macroed in. You don't have to worry about doing anything, right? So that's cheating in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like learning about these exploits or animation cancelers or whatever you want to call them, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Give me a subscribe. Give me a like. I'm trying to get those numbers up there. Help me out. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.